Welcome back, guys, to Sports with Schu. Today, we're just going to be going over why Jordan Davis should not go in the first round. Um, so, I'm probably going to try spitting out some YouTube videos a couple times a week, hopefully. I mean, it's really whenever I can get the time. I'm going to focus mostly on Chargers offseason news and mock drafts and stuff like that. And prospect breakdowns. But I wanted to start this year slash draft season off for my channel with Jordan Davis because he has been mocked constantly to the Chargers, and I see in a lot of the comments and YouTube videos and comments on the mock drafts and stuff, some Chargers fans supporting that idea. And not only do I think that's a poor idea for the Chargers specifically, but I don't really think any team should pick him in the first round. I honestly wouldn't complain if somebody took him before the Chargers, just because that means that somebody else would slip. But let's just get into it. So, Jordan Davis, he obviously went to Georgia. He's known as being a mammoth of a human being. He's 6'6", and everything that I saw had him listed at 340. He looks a little bit bigger than that. Um, but his age right now, he's 22. I think his birthday is sometime in January, so he's pretty average age. He's not super young, not super old, so it's not really anything to be concerned or thrilled about. His PFF grade this past year overall was 80.6, which is pretty good. His we'll get into his pass rushing, but we can start with what I do like about Jordan Davis, his run defense. So he's a great two-gapper. He can be a nose tackle probably from day one in the NFL and be relied upon to stop the run. That's the only reason that he's been mocked to the Chargers so much, is because we struggled to stop the run. But we had Linval Joseph last year, who wasn't bad against the run, but it's more so Staley's scheme, and I think that we can get guys other places who can also stop the run and fit his scheme better. But Jordan Davis specifically, for any team, he will be an upgrade to your run defense. Another pro is that he played in a good defense. So a lot of other players, Nazir Adderley comes to mind. He played on not a great Delaware team, but you could just see flashes of like highlight reel plays and what he could be and how consistent he was at Delaware. But when you see these guys who play at smaller schools producing like they do, sometimes it's against not great competition, but it's a lot more of a projection. For Jordan Davis, he's played in a good defense with other NFL caliber players, which could also be seen as a con because he couldn't really get double teamed as much playing next to Devontae Wyatt and with like N'Kobe Dean running around in the front seven as well. I mean, they're probably going to end up with 3 first-round draft picks at least from the Georgia DLine. Trayvon Walker might go in the first round, probably not, but for sure on day 2. But essentially, when projecting Jordan Davis, you've seen him go against top-tier competition and play in a top-tier defense. So he's going to be playing with other NFL players, so you've kind of already seen what you're going to get out of Jordan Davis. Another pro is a little bit recently, I've seen him starting to slip in some mock drafts. Some people are still kind of trying to push him up. I've seen him taken at 12 by the Ravens a good amount. I think Ravens are at 12. If that happened, I mean, That would be a pretty rough pick by the Ravens, but in general, I've seen him starting to slip a little bit. In some mock drafts, don't even see him in the first round, which I think is the correct decision. Whether or not that happens, I don't know, because all it takes is one team to really just get locked in at the beginning of the offseason saying run defenses are our only issue as a team. It's our biggest issue as a team. And let's look to the draft. Jordan Davis, oh, he's great against the run. Let's pick him. All it takes is one team locking into their guy and one issue to take him in the first round. But some cons, and there's a good amount of taking him in the first round. Cons as a player, it's really, he played only 36% of snaps for Georgia last year. So, I mean, you could see it in the college football playoffs too, and just throughout the season. He would get pretty gassed pretty quick. So in 2 minutes, you can't really have him on the field because then he's going to get stuck on the field and he's not going to be able to do anything. Literally just snap the ball and he's just going to have to stand there and try and catch his breath. So for a first round pick to only be able to play 36% of snaps, that's not really what you're looking for. I would rather have a Devontae Wyatt or, I mean, ideally somebody from past years. A better example would be Christian Barmore from last year, who is just a slightly different build, also obviously has a different skill set, but just having that different build allows them to stay on the field more, which in turn gives you better production, but also value out of that first round pick. Another con is he only had 9 pressures all year last year. So I want to say that was out of 170-ish pass snaps. So I think he had a sack in the championship game, but I really hope that teams don't lock into that and like, oh, he does have pass rush upside, which he can possibly push the pocket, but you just don't really see it from him on tape that often. So if you're drafting him, it's really purely for run defense. He's going to come off the field in obvious passing situations. Just don't really see great hand usage. He's a monster against double teams in the run game. You are going to need to combo block and, I mean, really just pray when you're running the ball against Jordan Davis. But he's just a liability in pass rushing, because the number of times that on his tape I saw one center or one guard able to just right off the snap get their hands on him, and he just almost wouldn't even fight them if it was a passing snap. He would just stand up. And then third one, this is probably the biggest one, is just value. In a first round pick, there are so many other things that you want to be looking for. Positions of value being number one, probably. Quarterback, obviously number one, but also edge, corner, wide receiver, offensive tackle. Those are the big ones that you really want to attack, especially with a first round pick. Because yes, you're giving them the most money, but hitting on those first round picks, that's how you build a franchise. Those are the cornerstones of your team. And getting those cornerstones of your team on a good rookie contract is the most important. So if Jordan Davis is a cornerstone to your team, you're giving a D tackle not only slightly bigger, longer contract, but you're also passing on somebody who could be a future, even an average offensive tackle or cornerback. Just the value of upgrading from a slightly subpar, like let's take the Chargers, for example. Chris Harris had a pretty big down year but let's just call him slightly below average. If we would take, I mean, obviously, if Sauce Gardner was there, let's just say that he was at 17. We could have Sauce as a true CB1 on the outside. Michael Davis also on the outside, possibly working the slot some. Asante on the outside, possibly working in the slot some. But upgrading from slightly below average to what a first round pick should be, good at their position, hopefully right away. At cornerback, that's going to provide you so much more value. I almost don't even care how good your pass defense is. Sure, if you're the Broncos possibly and you're that deep, I would still probably try and attack it at some point in the draft. But just upgrading from below average to good at a position like a first rounder should be, addressing D tackle just isn't going to provide you that value, because stopping the pass, or at least slowing down the pass, is so much more important than stopping the run. We could draft in the first 3 rounds linebacker and 2 D tackles for the Chargers. And let's just say that we slightly change our scheme and we shut down the run. We're still going to struggle in the secondary next year. We're not going to have the firepower to play the Chiefs or even the Broncos with the receivers that they have. Addressing positions of need early in the draft that aren't positions of value is how a team can go down the wrong path and slip pretty quickly. And especially in the Chargers situation, maximizing this window with Justin Herbert, attacking positions of value that for us are also positions of need, like corner, offensive tackle, wide receiver, are going to be much more valuable and increase our chances of winning every single week a lot more than taking a good run stuffing DT in Jordan Davis. So this video is about why he shouldn't go in the first round. I still think that he should obviously get drafted, even if he was there in the second round for the Chargers. I don't know if I would want him. I think he'll for sure go, possibly in the first, definitely at least in the second, but I think the value starts to be there in the second or third round for a player like him. But in the first round, that's when you're truly just looking for, ideally, your blue chip prospects, but at least the cornerstones of your franchise. And I just don't think that I see it with Jordan Davis. So that is my first little mini rant about Jordan Davis, the DT from Georgia, 340 pounds, probably bigger. But you guys can like, subscribe, comment. I only have 3 subscribers. Definitely respond to every single comment that I get. You can talk shit, whatever you want. I love arguing. Chargers fans, other teams fans, anybody's fans. If you love football, I'll talk about it with you or argue with you. And see you guys in the next video.